You know, there's something absolutely miraculous that happens when you stop holding on so tightly to everything in your life. Most of us spend our entire existence grabbing, clutching, trying to control every single outcome, every person, every circumstance. We wake up in the morning already planning how we're going to make things happen, how we're going to force life to bend to our will, and then we wonder why we're exhausted. We wonder why we're stressed. We wonder why, despite all our effort, things still don't turn out the way we expected. Here's what I've learned after all these years of studying human behavior, of working with thousands of people, of examining my own struggles and breakthroughs. The universe operates on a principle that's completely opposite to what most of us have been taught. We've been conditioned to believe that more effort equals more results, that if we just push harder, grip tighter, control better, we'll finally get what we want. But that's not how life works. That's not how the energy of this universe flows. Think about water for a moment. When you try to grab water with a clenched fist, what happens? It slips right through your fingers. But when you cup your hands gently, when you allow the water to rest in your open palms, you can hold it. You can drink from it. You can be nourished by it. Life is exactly the same way. The tighter you grip, the more it eludes you. The more you let go, the more it flows toward you. Now, I'm not talking about giving up. I'm not suggesting you become passive or indifferent. There's a massive difference between letting go and giving up. Giving up is surrender born from defeat. Letting go is surrender born from wisdom. Letting go means you're still engaged with life, you're still participating, you're still creating, but you're doing it from a place of trust rather than fear. You're doing it from a place of allowing rather than forcing. Most of our attachment comes from fear. We're afraid that if we don't control the outcome, something terrible will happen. We're afraid that if we don't micromanage every detail, everything will fall apart. We're afraid that if we're not constantly vigilant, constantly pushing, constantly striving, we'll lose what we have or never get what we want. But this fear-based approach to life is exactly what creates our suffering. It's exactly what blocks the very things we're trying to attract. When you operate from fear, you're operating from a state of lack. You're telling the universe, I don't have enough. I'm not enough. Life isn't giving me what I need, so I have to take it by force. And the universe, being the mirror that it is, reflects that energy right back to you. You get more experiences of lack, more experiences of struggle, more experiences of having to fight for everything. But when you let go, when you release that death grip on how things should be, you open yourself up to how things could be. And I promise you, the universe is far more creative, far more generous, far more abundant than your limited human mind could ever conceive. Your ego, your conscious mind, can only see a few steps ahead. It can only plan based on what it already knows, what it's already experienced. But the infinite intelligence that runs this universe, the same intelligence that grows a baby from 2 cells, the same intelligence that keeps planets in orbit and makes your heart beat without your conscious effort, that intelligence has a much bigger plan for you than you could ever design for yourself. I've seen this play out countless times in my own life. Every single time I've tried to force something to happen, I've either failed or succeeded in creating something that wasn't really aligned with my highest good. But every time I've let go, every time I've said, okay, I'm going to do my part, I'm going to take inspired action, but I'm going to release my attachment to the specific outcome, magic has happened. Opportunities I never could have predicted showed up. People I never knew existed came into my life. Solutions to problems that seemed impossible suddenly became clear. Let me be more specific about what letting go actually means in practical terms. It doesn't mean you stop having goals or desires. It doesn't mean you sit around waiting for life to happen to you. What it means is you hold your goals lightly. You move toward them with enthusiasm and commitment, but you don't strangle them with your need for them to manifest in one specific way at one specific time. When you're attached to an outcome, you're saying, I know exactly how this needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and who needs to be involved. You've written the entire script in your head, and now you're upset when reality doesn't follow your screenplay. But when you let go of attachment, you're saying, I know what I want to create or experience, and I'm going to move in that direction, but I'm open to it showing up in ways I haven't even thought of. I'm open to it being even better than I imagined. I'm open to the timing being different than I planned if that serves my highest good. This is especially important when it comes to relationships. Oh, how we suffer in our relationships because of our attachments. We meet someone, And immediately our ego starts creating a story about who they should be, how they should behave, what they should give us. And then we spend the entire relationship trying to mold them into our preconceived idea instead of allowing them to be who they actually are. We try to change them, control them, fix them. And we're miserable because they keep being themselves instead of our fantasy version of them. Or we hold on to relationships that have clearly run their course because we're attached to how things used to be, or attached to our investment of time and energy, or attached to not being alone. We stay in situations that drain us, that diminish us, that prevent us from growing, all because we can't let go. We're so afraid of the empty space that would be left behind that we'd rather fill it with something that makes us unhappy than face the temporary discomfort of release. But here's what I want you to understand. When you let go of a person or situation that isn't serving you, you're not losing anything real. You're only losing your attachment to an idea, a fantasy, a hope that things could be different than they are. And when you release that attachment, you make space for something authentic to enter your life. You make space for relationships that uplift you, for situations that align with your growth, for experiences that actually fulfill you. The same principle applies to your relationship with material things. Money, possessions, status, these are all wonderful things to have, and there's nothing wrong with wanting them. But when you're attached to them, when your sense of worth and security is tied to them, you become their slave. You make decisions based on fear of losing them rather than on what truly serves your soul's purpose. You sacrifice your peace, your health, your integrity to get them or keep them. I've watched people destroy themselves chasing money because they were attached to the idea that money would make them happy, would make them worthy, would make them safe. They got the money, and they were still unhappy, still felt unworthy, still felt unsafe. Why? Because they hadn't addressed the inner void they were trying to fill. They were looking outside themselves for something that could only be found within. When you let go of your attachment to money as a source of security and instead trust that you live in an abundant universe that will always provide what you need, something shifts. You still work, you still create value, you still receive compensation, but you do it from a place of joy and service rather than desperation and fear. And ironically, when you operate from that energy, you often end up with more money than you would have by chasing it frantically. This is the paradox of letting go. By releasing your desperate need for something, you actually become more magnetic to it. Why? Because neediness repels. Confidence attracts. When you need something, you're in a state of lack, and that energy pushes away the very thing you want. But when you want something without needing it, when you desire it but know you'll be fine either way, you're in a state of abundance, and that energy draws things to you effortlessly. Think about how this shows up in everyday situations. When you desperately need someone to like you, they can feel that neediness and it pushes them away. But when you're comfortable being yourself, when you're okay whether they like you or not, suddenly you become more attractive. When you desperately need a job, you go into the interview tense and trying too hard, and they can sense it. But when you know your worth, when you trust that if this job isn't right, there will be another one, you show up confident and authentic, and you're more likely to get hired. The energy of desperation, of attachment, of neediness, literally changes how you show up in the world. It affects your body language, your tone of voice, the decisions you make, the opportunities you notice or miss. When you're attached, you're contracted, you're tight, you're closed off. But when you let go, you expand, you relax, you open up. And in that openness, life can reach you. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how do I actually let go? I've been trying to stop worrying, stop controlling, stop being attached, and I can't seem to do it. And that's because you can't force yourself to let go. You can't make letting go another thing on your to-do list, another goal to achieve through effort and willpower. Letting go happens naturally when you shift your perspective, when you change your underlying beliefs about how life works. The first step is becoming aware of what you're attached to. Most of us don't even realize how many things we're gripping tightly. We think we're just living our lives, but we're actually in a constant state of low-grade anxiety about maintaining control. So start noticing, when do you feel tense? What thoughts create anxiety in your body? What situations trigger your need to control? Just observe without judgment. Awareness is always the first step toward change. Once you're aware of your attachments, the next step is questioning the beliefs behind them. If you're attached to someone's approval, ask yourself why. What do you believe will happen if they don't approve of you? If you're attached to a specific outcome, ask yourself why this particular outcome seems so important. What are you making it mean about you or your life? Usually, when you drill down, you'll find that you're attaching your identity, your worth, or your safety to external circumstances. And that's the root of all suffering. Your worth is not determined by your accomplishments, your relationships, your bank account, or any other external measure. Your worth is inherent. It was established the moment you came into existence. You are an individualized expression of the infinite creative force of the universe. You are literally made of the same energy that creates galaxies. How could you not be worthy? How could you not be enough? Your value isn't something you have to earn or prove. It simply is. When you really understand this, when you feel this truth in your bones, letting go becomes natural. You stop needing external validation because you validate yourself. You stop needing to control outcomes because you trust that you're always being guided toward your highest good. You stop needing people, circumstances, or things to be different than they are because you know that your peace, your happiness, your fulfillment come from within. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or apathetic. You still care about things. You still have preferences. You still take action toward your goals. But there's a lightness to it. There's a trust. There's a knowing that whether things work out the way you planned or not, you're going to be okay. More than okay. You're going to grow, learn, and evolve through whatever happens. I want to talk about control for a moment because this is where so many of us get stuck. We've been taught that we're supposed to control our lives, that responsible adults manage and control everything. But the truth is, we control very little. We don't control other people. We can't make someone love us, respect us, or behave the way we want them to. We don't control circumstances. We can't prevent loss, change, or unexpected challenges from showing up in our lives. We don't even fully control our own minds and bodies. Thoughts arise whether we want them to or not. Physical sensations, emotions, and impulses happen automatically. So what do we actually control? We control our response to what happens. We control where we place our attention. We control the meaning we assign to events. We control the actions we choose to take. That's it. And that's enough. When you stop trying to control all the things you can't control and focus on the things you can, you become powerful. Not in a dominating way, but in an authentic, grounded way. Letting go of control doesn't mean nothing is in your hands. It means you're taking your hands off everything that was never yours to hold in the first place. You're releasing your grip on other people's choices, on past events you can't change, on future outcomes you can't guarantee. And in doing so, you free up enormous amounts of energy that you can now direct toward what you actually can influence. Think about how much energy you waste trying to control things that are beyond your control. You replay conversations in your head, wishing you'd said something different. You worry about what might happen in the future, rehearsing disasters that will probably never occur. You try to manage other people's opinions of you, constantly adjusting your behavior to win approval. All of this is exhausting, and none of it is effective. When you let go of the illusion of control, you get your energy back. You get your life back. You're no longer scattered across 1,000 different concerns, most of which are imaginary. You're present. You're here. You're available for the actual experience of your life instead of being lost in your thoughts about your life. This presence is incredibly powerful. When you're truly present, you notice things you would have missed. You feel your intuition more clearly. You respond to situations with wisdom rather than reacting from old patterns. You connect with people authentically instead of performing for them. You experience joy, beauty, and love more fully because you're actually there for them. And here's something beautiful that happens when you let go. You stop being motivated by fear and start being motivated by love. Fear says, I have to make this happen, or something bad will occur. Love says, I want to create this because it would be beautiful, meaningful, or joyful. Fear contracts and strains. Love expands and flows. Fear is exhausting. Love is energizing. When you're creating from love rather than fear, everything changes. Your work becomes more creative, more inspired, more effective. Your relationships become more genuine, more intimate, more satisfying. Your life becomes an expression of who you really are rather than a defense against who you're afraid of being. I've spent decades studying spiritual texts from every tradition, and they all point to this same truth. Whether it's the Tao Te Ching talking about Wu Wei, effortless action, or the Bhagavad Gita discussing non-attachment to the fruits of action, or Jesus teaching about not worrying about tomorrow, or the Buddha explaining the cause of suffering, they're all saying the same thing. Attachment is the problem. Letting go is the solution. But these aren't just ancient teachings. Modern psychology has caught up with this wisdom. Research shows that people who are less attached to specific outcomes experience less stress, better mental health, more creativity, and often more success in achieving their goals. Why? Because they're not blocking the flow with their anxiety and rigidity. They're open to possibilities. They adapt more easily. They see opportunities that others miss because they're not fixated on one narrow path. Neuroscience has shown us that when we're anxious and controlling, our brain literally narrows its focus. We go into a stress response where we can only see threats and problems, but when we're relaxed and trusting, our brain opens up. We can see more options, make better decisions, and tap into our higher cognitive functions. Letting go isn't just spiritually wise, it's biologically smart. Now, let's talk about what happens when you actually practice this. When you start letting go, things might feel scary at first. Your ego is going to protest. It's going to tell you that if you don't stay in control, everything will fall apart. It's going to create fearful scenarios about all the terrible things that will happen if you release your grip. This is normal. Your ego's job is to keep you safe, and it thinks staying in control is how to do that. But you're not your ego. You're the awareness behind your thoughts. You're the infinite part of yourself that knows you're always safe because you're always connected to the source of all life. So when those fearful thoughts arise, you don't have to believe them. You can acknowledge them, thank your ego for trying to protect you, and then gently redirect your attention to trust. Trust is the antidote to control. When you trust that the universe is fundamentally benevolent, that it's always moving in the direction of greater life, growth, and love, you can relax. You can let go. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to make everything happen. You can do your part and trust that the universe will do its part. This trust develops over time as you test it out. You let go of something small and notice that not only did nothing terrible happen, but often something better showed up. You release control in a relationship and find that the relationship either improves or naturally ends, making space for a better one. You stop forcing a particular career path and find that a new opportunity emerges that's more aligned with who you really are. Each time you let go and see that you're supported, your trust grows. Eventually, you get to a place where letting go feels more natural than holding on, where trust feels more comfortable than control, where you actually prefer the experience of flowing with life rather than fighting against it. And this is when life really starts to give back to you, not because you've earned it or deserve it more than before, but because you've finally opened yourself up to receive it. You've removed the blocks. You've stopped pushing away abundance with your desperate grasping. You've become a clear channel for life to flow through you and to you. Things start showing up that you didn't even ask for. Synchronicities increase. You meet the right person at the right time. You hear about an opportunity just when you need it. You receive help from unexpected sources. Solutions appear for problems you were struggling with. It's not magic, although it can certainly feel magical. It's simply the natural result of aligning yourself with the flow of life rather than resisting it. The more you let go, the more you receive. But here's the beautiful twist. The more you receive, the less attached you become to receiving. You realize that the real treasure wasn't the things you received, but the person you became in the process of learning to let go. The peace, the freedom, the trust, the openness, the love. These inner riches are worth more than anything external you could ever acquire. When you reach this understanding, you become truly free. Free from the tyranny of your own desires. Free from the prison of other people's opinions. Free from the burden of trying to control an uncontrollable universe. And in that freedom, you can finally enjoy your life. Not someday when everything is perfect, but right now, with all its imperfections and uncertainties, you can appreciate what you have without clinging to it. You can work toward goals without your happiness, depending on achieving them. You can love people without needing them to complete you. You can face challenges without being destroyed by them. You can experience loss without losing yourself. You can embrace change without fear. This is what it means to truly live. Not to grip and control and force and manipulate, but to participate fully, respond authentically, create joyfully, and release peacefully. To show up with your whole heart while holding the outcome lightly. To care deeply while remaining unattached to results. Let me share something personal with you. For years, I held on to anger about my childhood. I resented my father for abandoning our family. I carried that resentment like a heavy stone, thinking somehow that my anger was punishing him. But the only person it was hurting was me. That anger was coloring every relationship I had, every decision I made, every moment of my life. When I finally let it go, when I truly forgave and released that resentment, everything changed. Not because my past changed, the facts remained the same, but my relationship to those facts transformed completely. I was no longer a victim of my history. I was no longer defined by what someone else had done decades ago. I was free, and in that freedom I could finally become who I was meant to be. That's what letting go does. It liberates you from the past and the future so you can inhabit the present. It releases you from who you thought you had to be so you can be who you actually are. It frees you from the prison of your own mind so you can experience the vastness of life itself. And here's what I want you to really hear. You don't have to let go of everything all at once. This isn't an all or nothing proposition. You can start small, choose one thing you've been gripping tightly and consciously release it. Maybe it's a grudge you've been holding. Maybe it's a hope that someone will change. Maybe it's anxiety about a situation you can't control. Just one thing. Release it with intention. You might say to yourself, I choose to let this go. I release my grip on this outcome, this person, this need. I trust that whatever happens, I will be okay. I trust that the universe has my back. I trust that I am always being guided toward my highest good. And then notice what happens. Notice how your body feels. Notice the space that opens up. Notice what shows up in that space. Then, when you're ready, choose another thing to release, and another. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Because you've experienced the freedom and peace that comes from letting go, and you want more of that. Because you've seen that the universe really does support you when you release your death grip on life. This is a practice. It's not a destination you arrive at once and for all. You'll find yourself gripping tightly again, and that's okay. The moment you notice you're holding on too tight, you have the opportunity to let go again. Each time you do, it gets easier. Each time you do, you deepen your trust. Each time you do, you open yourself more fully to the abundant, generous, creative flow of life. And I want to be clear about something. Letting go doesn't mean you won't experience pain or loss or disappointment. Life includes all of those things. But when you're not attached, when you're not desperately clinging to how things should be, you can move through those difficult experiences with more grace. You can. Feel your feelings fully without being destroyed by them. You can grieve without becoming bitter. You can acknowledge disappointment without giving up on life. In fact, letting go allows you to feel your emotions more authentically because you're not wasting energy trying to control or suppress them. You can be with what is, whatever it is, knowing that you're spacious enough to hold it all, knowing that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents, knowing that this too shall pass. This capacity to be with life as it is, rather than as you wish it were, is the ultimate maturity. It's the difference between being tossed around by circumstances and remaining centered regardless of what's happening around you. It's the difference between suffering and pain. Pain is inevitable in life. Suffering is optional. Suffering is what happens when we resist pain, when we attach to the idea that things shouldn't be as they are. When you let go of resistance, you can experience pain without creating suffering. You can feel loss without losing yourself. You can face uncertainty without being paralyzed by fear. Because underneath all the temporary circumstances of your life, there's a permanent foundation of peace. There's the unchanging awareness that you are, that has been and always will be, regardless of what comes and goes in your experience. This awareness is your true self. It's not your ego, your personality, your roles, your achievements, or your failures. It's the consciousness itself. And when you identify with this awareness rather than with the changing contents of your life, letting go becomes natural, because you realize that you can't lose what you truly are. The things you're so afraid of losing, your youth, your health, your relationships, your status, they were never who you are anyway. They're experiences you're having, but they're not you. You are the experiencer. You are the eternal, infinite awareness in which all experiences arise and pass away. When you really get this, when you feel this truth beyond just understanding it intellectually, you become fearless. Not in the sense that you never feel fear, but in the sense that you're no longer controlled by fear. Fear becomes just another sensation moving through your awareness, rather than a dictator determining your choices. From this place of identification with your true self, you can participate fully in life without being destroyed when things don't go your way. You can love completely without the fear of loss preventing you from opening your heart. You can commit fully to your goals while remaining unattached to specific outcomes. You can engage passionately with life while maintaining your inner peace. This is the paradox and the promise of letting go. You become more alive, not less. More engaged, not less. More creative, not less. More loving, not less. But you're doing it all from a place of freedom rather than need, from overflow rather than deficit, from trust rather than fear. And the universe responds to that energy. Life rewards that openness. Not because you've manipulated some cosmic vending machine, but because you've aligned yourself with how life actually works. You've stopped working against the current and started flowing with it. And when you flow with life rather than fighting it, you discover that life has been trying to give to you all along. You were just too tense, too closed, too attached to receive it. So my invitation to you is simple, though not always easy. Start letting go. Start with whatever feels manageable. Release your grip just a little bit on something you've been holding tightly. Notice what happens. Learn to trust through experience, not just belief. Test it out. See for yourself that the more you let go, the more life gives you. And remember, you're not doing this alone. You're supported by the same infinite intelligence that orchestrates the entire universe. The same force that knows how to grow a tree from a seed, how to heal a wound, how to turn food into energy. This same force is available to guide your life if you'll get out of the way and let it. Stop trying to do everything yourself. Stop thinking that your small, limited ego has to figure it all out. Surrender to the higher intelligence that's already within you, already guiding you, already conspiring for your benefit. Your job isn't to control everything. Your job is to be present, to be open, to be willing, to take inspired action when called, and to let go of the rest. When you live this way, life becomes an adventure rather than a burden, an unfolding mystery rather than a problem to solve, a gift to receive rather than a battle to win. And you finally get to experience the peace, joy, and freedom that you've been seeking all along, not by grasping for them, but by releasing everything that's been blocking them. The more you let go, the more life gives you. Not just more stuff, although that may come too, but more of what really matters. More peace, more love, more joy, more connection, more creativity, more aliveness, more of your true self. And isn't that what you really want anyway? Isn't that what all the grasping and controlling and forcing has really been about? The desire to feel okay, to feel safe, to feel whole. Well, here's the secret. You already are okay. You already are safe. You already are whole. Not because of anything you've achieved or acquired, but because of what you inherently are. You are an expression of infinite love taking form. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are consciousness exploring its own creation. And nothing you do or don't do, nothing you gain or lose, nothing that happens or doesn't happen can change that fundamental truth. When you rest in this truth, letting go isn't a sacrifice. It's a relief. It's the natural response to realizing that you never had to hold on so tightly in the first place, that you were always held, that you are always held, that there's a larger intelligence, a deeper wisdom, a greater love supporting you in every moment. Trust that. Let go into that. And watch your life transform in ways you never could have forced or controlled into being. The more you let go, the more life gives you. Not someday, not in theory, but right now, in this very moment, as you release your grip and open your hands to receive all that's already here, already available, already waiting for you to simply accept it. This is the path of peace. This is the way of wisdom. This is the art of living. Let go and let life love you the way it's been trying to all along. You know, there's something absolutely remarkable that happens the moment you begin to truly value yourself. It's not magic, though it might feel like it. It's not luck, though others might call it that. What happens is this: the entire universe begins to shift and rearrange itself to match the energy you're putting out. When you value yourself, when you truly hold yourself in high regard, you send out a signal that says, this is what I'm worth. This is what I deserve. This is who I am. And the world listens. But here's what most people miss. They spend their entire lives waiting for someone else to tell them they're valuable. They wait for the promotion, the relationship, the approval, the validation from parents, from friends, from society. They wait, and while they're waiting, they're accepting less than they deserve. They're settling, they're compromising. They're allowing people and circumstances into their lives that don't match their true worth. And then they wonder why they're unhappy. They wonder why things never seem to work out. They wonder why they keep attracting the same problems, the same difficult people, the same disappointing situations. The answer is simple, though not always easy to hear. You're getting exactly what you think you deserve. You're attracting precisely what matches your own internal sense of value. If you don't value yourself, why would anyone else? If you don't respect your own time, your own energy, your own peace of mind, why would the universe send you people and circumstances that do? Think about this for a moment. Right now, in this very moment, you are either moving toward what you want or away from it. There is no standing still. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take is either raising your vibration, raising your sense of self-worth, or lowering it. When you criticize yourself, when you put yourself down, when you accept treatment that feels wrong in your gut, when you stay in situations that drain you, when you surround yourself with people who diminish you, you are telling the universe, this is what I'm worth. Send me more of this. But when you value yourself, everything changes. When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is one of gratitude for who you are, not who you wish you were, but who you are right now, you set a different tone for your day. When you speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love and respect, you change your energy. When you make decisions based on what honors you, what serves your highest good, what makes you feel peaceful and aligned, you change your trajectory. Valuing yourself doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It doesn't mean you never make mistakes or have doubts or feel afraid. It means that despite all of that, despite your humanness, despite your flaws and your fears and your failures, you still look at yourself and say, I am worthy, I am enough, I deserve good things. Not because of what you've accomplished or what you look like or what other people think of you, but simply because you exist. Because you are a unique expression of life itself, and that alone makes you valuable beyond measure. Most people have this backwards. They think they'll value themselves once they achieve something, once they lose the weight, once they get the job, once they find the relationship, once they have the money. But it doesn't work that way. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. You attract what you believe about yourself at the deepest level. So if you're waiting to value yourself until something external changes, you could be waiting forever. And even if those external things do change, even if you get the promotion or the relationship or the money, you still won't feel valuable if you haven't done the internal work first. I've seen this pattern repeat itself thousands of times. Someone achieves their big goal, gets the thing they thought would make them feel worthy, and then a few weeks or months later, they're back to feeling the same way they did before. Why? Because the achievement didn't change their fundamental relationship with themselves. They still carried the same limiting beliefs, the same self-doubt, the same unworthiness. And so they either sabotaged their success or simply didn't allow themselves to enjoy it. Valuing yourself is an inside job. It starts with the way you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. It starts with the standards you set for how you want to be treated. It starts with the choices you make about how you spend your time and energy. It starts with the willingness to disappoint other people, if that's what it takes to honor yourself. And yes, that last one is hard, because most of us have been conditioned to be people pleasers. We've been taught that our value comes from making other people happy, from being useful, from being needed, from being agreeable, and accommodating and nice. But here's the truth. When you sacrifice your own well-being to keep other people comfortable, you're not being kind. You're being dishonest. You're lying to yourself about what you need and what you deserve. And you're lying to the other person by pretending everything is fine when it's not. Real kindness, real love, real respect starts with being honest about who you are and what you need. It starts with valuing yourself enough to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes, even when people might not like what you have to say, even when it feels risky. And yes, when you start valuing yourself, some people won't like it. The people who benefited from your low self-worth will resist your transformation. The people who got used to you being available at all hours, being agreeable to everything, sacrificing your needs for theirs, they're going to push back. They're going to tell you you've changed, and not in a good way. They're going to accuse you of being selfish or difficult or too much. They're going to try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, for saying no, for choosing yourself. Let them. This is part of the process. When you raise your standards, when you start valuing yourself, you automatically begin to separate yourself from people and situations that don't match your new energy. And that's exactly what needs to happen. You can't attract the best while you're clinging to people and patterns that represent the worst. You can't move forward while you're holding on to what's holding you back. You have to be willing to create space in your life. You have to be willing to let go. You have to trust that when you value yourself, when you hold yourself in high regard, you will naturally attract people and circumstances that match that energy. This is not about being arrogant or thinking you're better than anyone else. This is about recognizing your inherent worth as a human being. This is about understanding that you are not here to shrink yourself to make other people comfortable. You are not here to play small so that others don't feel threatened. You are not here to accept crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. You are here to be fully yourself, to express your unique gifts, to live a life that feels authentic and meaningful and joyful. And when you value yourself, when you truly get this at a cellular level, you stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop trying to convince people of your worth. You stop over-explaining yourself, over-giving, overdoing, trying to earn love and respect and approval. You understand that your value is not up for debate. It's not something that needs to be proven. It simply is. And the right people, the people who are meant to be in your life, will recognize it without you having to say a word. Think about the people you admire, the people who seem to have it all together, who attract wonderful opportunities and relationships. What is it about them? Is it their looks? Sometimes, but not always. Is it their money? Sometimes, but not always. Is it their talent? Sometimes, but not always. What they all have in common is this: they carry themselves as if they are valuable. They have a quiet confidence, a self-assurance, a sense of worthiness that radiates from within. They don't need external validation because they've already validated themselves. They don't need to prove anything to anyone because they've already decided they are enough. And you can have this too. You can cultivate this quality within yourself right now, regardless of your current circumstances. It starts with a decision. It starts with you saying, from this moment forward, I am going to treat myself as someone of value. I am going to speak to myself with kindness and respect. I am going to make choices that honor me. I am going to set boundaries that protect my peace. I am going to surround myself with people who lift me up. I am going to pursue opportunities that align with my values. I am going to stop settling for less than I deserve. And then you follow through. You make it a practice. Every single day, you wake up and you ask yourself, what would someone who values themselves do in this situation? And then you do that thing, even if it's scary, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it goes against what you've always done before, you do it anyway, because you're committed to honoring yourself. You're committed to living in alignment with your worth. Now, let me tell you what happens when you do this. At first, it might feel strange. It might feel selfish. It might feel like you're being too much or asking for too much or expecting too much. That's just your old programming talking. That's the voice of unworthiness trying to pull you back into familiar patterns. Don't listen to it. Keep going. Keep choosing yourself. Keep valuing yourself. And then something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to notice that the quality of your life improves. The people who drained you start to fade away. New people show up who actually see you, who appreciate you, who treat you with the respect you deserve. Opportunities appear that match your new energy. Doors open that were closed before. Things start to flow more easily, not because the external world has changed, but because you have changed. Because you're no longer tolerating what doesn't serve you. Because you're no longer accepting less than you deserve. Because you're finally valuing yourself. And here's the really beautiful part. When you value yourself, you inspire others to value themselves too. You give them permission to raise their standards, to set boundaries, to choose themselves. You become a living example of what's possible when someone decides they are worthy. Your transformation becomes a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. Because we need more people in this world who know their worth, who stand in their power, who refuse to settle. Let me tell you something else that's important. Valuing yourself doesn't mean you never struggle. It doesn't mean you never feel doubt or fear or uncertainty. It doesn't mean everything is perfect all the time. What it means is that even in the midst of struggle, even when things are hard, even when you don't know what's going to happen next, you still have your own back. You still treat yourself with compassion. You still make choices that honor your well-being. You still trust that you are worthy of good things, even when good things feel far away. This is the difference between someone who values themselves and someone who doesn't. The person who values themselves doesn't wait for external circumstances to be perfect before deciding they are worthy. They claim their worth right now, right here, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the uncertainty, in the middle of the not knowing. They understand that their worth is not conditional. It's not something they have to earn or prove or justify. It simply is. And when you operate from this place of unconditional self-worth, everything shifts. You stop looking outside yourself for validation. You stop needing other people to tell you you're okay. You stop depending on achievements or possessions or status to feel valuable. You realize that you've always been valuable, that you've always been worthy, that you've always been enough. You just forgot for a while. You got caught up in the world's definitions of worth, in other people's opinions, in the constant comparison and competition and striving. But none of that matters. None of that has anything to do with your true worth. Your worth is inherent. It's built into your very existence. You don't have to do anything to deserve it. You don't have to become anyone different to claim it. You just have to remember. You just have to come home to yourself. You just have to decide that from this moment forward, you are going to treat yourself as the valuable, worthy, deserving person you truly are. And when you make that decision, when you really commit to it, everything else falls into place. The right relationships find you. The right opportunities present themselves. The right circumstances align. Not because you're manipulating or controlling or forcing anything, but because you're finally in alignment with your true nature. You're finally operating from a place of worth rather than unworthiness. You're finally attracting from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. Think about it like this. When you have a wound, when you have a void inside you, when you feel fundamentally unworthy, you attract people and situations that mirror that wound. You attract people who are also wounded, who are also empty, who are also looking for someone else to fill them up. And what happens? You both end up disappointed. You both end up feeling even more empty than before. Because no one can fill that void but you. No one can heal that wound but you. No one can make you feel worthy but you. But when you do the work, when you heal that wound, when you fill that void with self-love and self-acceptance and self-worth, you attract from a completely different place. You attract people who are also whole, who are also healed, who are also standing in their own worth. And instead of trying to complete each other or fix each other or fill each other's voids, you come together to share, to celebrate, to grow, to expand. You come together from a place of choice rather than need. You come together because you want to, not because you have to. This is what it means to attract the best. This is what happens when you value yourself. You stop settling. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop tolerating behavior that doesn't honor you. You stop staying in situations that drain you. You stop surrounding yourself with people who don't see you. And instead, you open yourself up to receive the best, the highest, the most aligned people and circumstances that are available to you. But you have to go first. You have to value yourself first. You can't wait for the perfect relationship to show up before you decide you're worthy of love. You can't wait for the perfect job to appear before you decide you're worthy of abundance. You can't wait for perfect circumstances before you decide you deserve to be happy. You have to claim it now. You have to value yourself now. You have to treat yourself as worthy now, even if your external reality doesn't yet reflect it. Because here's the thing, your external reality is always a reflection of your internal reality. It's always showing you what you believe about yourself at the deepest level. If you look at your life right now and you don't like what you see, if you're surrounded by people who don't respect you, if you're in situations that don't fulfill you, if you're constantly struggling and forcing and pushing and exhausted, it's not because you're unlucky or cursed or fundamentally flawed, it's because somewhere inside you, you don't believe you deserve better. Somewhere inside you, you don't value yourself enough to make different choices. And that can change. Right now, today, in this moment, you can decide that you are done settling. You are done accepting less than you deserve. You are done tolerating disrespect and mistreatment and mediocrity. You are done waiting for someone else to tell you you're valuable. You're going to tell yourself. You're going to know it. You're going to live it. You're going to make it the foundation of every choice you make going forward. What does this look like practically? It looks like saying no to the invitation that doesn't feel aligned, even if people might be disappointed. It looks like leaving the conversation that feels toxic, even if it's awkward. It looks like ending the relationship that's draining you, even if you're afraid of being alone. It looks like walking away from the job that doesn't respect you, even if you don't know what's next. It looks like investing in yourself, in your growth, in your healing, in your dreams, even if other people think it's frivolous or selfish. It looks like prioritizing your peace, your joy, your well-being, even when the world tells you to sacrifice yourself for others. It looks like choosing you, again and again and again, in big ways and small ways, in obvious ways and subtle ways. Every single day, in every single moment, you get to choose. You get to ask yourself, does this honor me? Does this align with my worth? Does this feel like something someone who values themselves would do? And then you act accordingly. And yes, this takes courage. It takes strength. It takes a willingness to stand alone sometimes, to go against the grain, to disappoint people, to risk rejection. But let me ask you this. What's the alternative? Spend the rest of your life settling? Spend the rest of your life accepting less than you deserve? Spend the rest of your life wondering why good things never happen to you, why you keep attracting the same problems, why you feel so unfulfilled? That's not living. That's existing. That's surviving. And you weren't put on this earth to merely survive. You were put here to thrive. You were put here to experience joy and love and abundance and peace. You were put here to express your unique gifts, to share your light, to make your contribution. But you can't do any of that if you don't value yourself. You can't shine your light if you're constantly dimming it to make other people comfortable. You can't share your gifts if you don't believe you have anything valuable to offer. You can't create the life you want if you don't believe you're worthy of having it. So here's what I'm inviting you to do. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop questioning whether you deserve good things. You do. Period. End of story. Not because of what you've accomplished or what you look like or what anyone else thinks about you. Simply because you are alive. Simply because you exist. Simply because you are a unique expression of the infinite intelligence that created this entire universe. That alone makes you infinitely valuable. Now, the question is, are you going to acknowledge that value? Are you going to honor it? Are you going to live from it? Are you going to make choices that reflect it? Are you going to set standards that match it? Are you going to surround yourself with people and circumstances that mirror it back to you? Because when you do, when you finally step into your worth, when you finally value yourself at the level you deserve to be valued, you will be absolutely amazed at what shows up in your life. You will be amazed at the quality of people who enter your world. You will be amazed at the opportunities that present themselves. You will be amazed at how much easier things flow. You will be amazed at how much more peaceful you feel. You will be amazed at how much more joy you experience. And you'll look back at your old life, at the life where you settled and tolerated and accepted less than you deserved, and you'll barely recognize that person. You'll have compassion for them. You'll understand why they made the choices they made, but you won't go back. You won't return to that place of unworthiness. Because once you've tasted what it's like to truly value yourself, once you've experienced the freedom and the joy and the abundance that comes from standing in your worth, you can never unsee it. You can never go back to settling. This is your invitation. This is your moment. This is your opportunity to choose yourself, to value yourself, to claim the life you truly deserve. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when circumstances are perfect. Now, right now, in this moment. You are worthy now. You are valuable now. You are deserving now. And the moment you truly believe that, the moment you truly live from that place, everything changes. The universe is waiting for you to step into your worth. The best relationships, the best opportunities, the best version of your life is waiting for you on the other side of self-value. All you have to do is claim it. All you have to do is decide that you are worthy. All you have to do is start treating yourself with the respect and love and honor you deserve. And then watch. Watch how your life transforms. Watch how the right people show up. Watch how the right circumstances align. Watch how everything you've been searching for outside yourself has been inside you all along. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are enough. Not because I'm saying it, not because anyone else is saying it, but because it's true. It's always been true. It will always be true. The only question is, when are you going to believe it? When are you going to live it? When are you going to stop settling and start claiming the magnificent life that's waiting for you? The answer is now. The time is now. You are ready now. You've always been ready. You just forgot for a while. But you're remembering now. You're waking up. You're seeing yourself for who you truly are. A valuable, worthy, deserving being who has every right to experience the best this life has to offer. So go claim it. Go live it. Go be it. The world needs more people who know their worth. The world needs you to shine. The world needs you to stop playing small. The world needs you to value yourself so that you can inspire others to value themselves too. This is your time. This is your life. This is your moment to choose. Choose yourself, value yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself, and watch as the entire universe rearranges itself to match the energy you're putting out. Watch as the best people, the best opportunities, the best circumstances find their way to you. Not because you're lucky, not because you're special, but because you finally valued yourself enough to attract them. And that changes everything.
Let us begin by examining what it truly means to not waste your life. Many of you may be thinking of the conventional wisdom to work hard, to achieve success in your career, to accumulate wealth and possessions. But I tell you, my dear friends, that this is not what I mean at all. For a life spent in pursuit of external achievements while neglecting the true source of all power and creation, your own wonderful human imagination, is indeed a life wasted. To truly not waste your life is to recognize and harness the incredible power that resides within you. It is to understand that you are not a mere mortal bound by the limitations of the physical world, but a divine being possessing the very power of creation itself. This power, this gift lies dormant in so many unused and unrecognized. And therein lies the true waste to have at your disposal the most powerful force in the universe and to leave it untapped, unexplored. Now, you might ask, but Wayne, how do we tap into this power? How do we ensure that we are not wasting our lives? The answer, my friends, lies in the second part of our topic. Do it for yourself. This phrase holds within the key to unlocking your true potential, to living a life of purpose and in fulfillment. To do it for yourself means to take full responsibility for your life, your experiences, your reality. It means to stop looking outside of yourself for validation, for permission, for the power to create the life you desire. It means to recognize that you and you alone are the author of your life story. This concept aligns perfectly with the law of assumption, which I have spoken about many times before. The law of assumption states that your consciousness is the one and only reality. What you assume to be true, what you feel to be real, must be made manifest in your physical experience. Therefore, to do it for yourself is to assume the state of your wish fulfilled, to live from the end, to embody the reality you desire, before it is made manifest in the physical world. Let me illustrate this with an example. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The conventional approach might be to work harder, to seek a better paying job, to invest wisely. And while these actions may have their place, they are not the true source of abundance. The true source lies within your own consciousness. To do it for yourself in this scenario means to assume the state of being financially abundant. It means to feel the relief, the security, the joy that comes with having all your financial needs met and exceeded. It means to walk through your day, to interact with others, to make decisions from the consciousness of someone who is already wealthy. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of faith. It is not a blind belief in something outside of yourself, but a knowing, a conviction that what you desire is already yours and of imagination. And since imagination is the one true reality, what you imagine with feeling and conviction must, by universal law, be made manifest in your physical experience. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Wayne, isn't this selfish? Shouldn't we be thinking of others, of making the world a better place? To this I say, there is no greater service you can render to the world than to fully realize your own divine nature, to fully express your true self. You see, when you do it for yourself, when you tap into your own power and create the life you desire, you become a living example of what's possible. You inspire others, not through words, but through your very being. Your joy, your abundance, your peace, these radiate outwards, touching all who come into contact with you. Moreover, when you understand that your consciousness is the only reality, you realize that there is no separation between yourself and others. We are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, as you elevate yourself, as you create a life of joy and fulfillment for yourself, you are simultaneously elevating all of humanity. This understanding brings us to another crucial aspect of not wasting your life and doing it for yourself: the importance of living in the present moment. So many people waste their lives living in the past, rehashing old regrets and missed opportunities, or projecting into the future, anxiously anticipating what may come. But I tell you, my friends, that the only moment that truly exists, the only moment where you have the power to create, is the present moment. To not waste your life means to fully inhabit each moment, to be fully present in your own experience. It means to bring the full power of your attention, your imagination, to bear on the now. For it is in this moment, and only in this moment, that you have the power to assume the state of your wish fulfilled, to embody the reality you desire. This focus on the present moment aligns perfectly with the instruction to do it for yourself, for who else can live your life but you? Who else can assume the state of your wish fulfilled but you? This is not a task that can be delegated or postponed. It must be done by you. In this very moment, let us delve deeper into what it means to do it for yourself. This phrase is not an encouragement to our selfishness or disregard for others. Rather, it is a call to recognize your own divine nature, to take responsibility for your own consciousness, which is the source of all your experiences. When you truly understand that your consciousness is the only reality, that the world you experience is a reflection of your inner states, you realize that the most profound way to change the world is to change yourself. This is what it means to do it for yourself. It means to take control of your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions, knowing that as you do so, your outer world must conform to this new inner reality. Consider for a moment the implications of this truth. If your consciousness is the only reality, if the world you experience is a reflection of your inner states, then every person, every circumstance in your life is playing a role that you have assigned to them consciously or unconsciously. This means that to change your relationships, your circumstances, your entire life experience, you need only change your consciousness. This, my dear friends, is true freedom. It is the recognition that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances, but the creator of them. It is the understanding that you have within you the power to reshape your entire reality simply by reshaping your consciousness. Now you might be wondering, but Wayne, how do I change my consciousness? How do I assume a new state? The answer lies in your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the workshop where you forge your future experiences. It is the realm where you can try on new states of being, where you can experience your wish fulfilled before it manifests in the physical world. To use your imagination effectively, to truly do it for yourself, requires a shift in how you perceive imagination. Many people think of imagination as near fantasy, as idle daydreaming. But I tell you, imagination is the very substance of reality. It is not something separate from reality, but the source of it. When you imagine, you are not escaping reality, but engaging with it at its most fundamental level. This is why I often say that imagination creates reality, because what you imagine with feeling with conviction must be made manifest in your physical experience. So how do you use your imagination to do it for yourself, to create the life you desire? The key lies in what I call living from the end. This means to imagine the fulfillment of your desire, to step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and to persist in this state regardless of appearances. Let's say, for example, that you desire a loving relationship. To do it for yourself in this scenario means to assume the state of being in a loving relationship. It means to feel the love, the companionship, the joy that comes with having your ideal partner. It means to walk through your day, to make decisions, to interact with others from the consciousness of someone who is already in this loving relationship. This might seem challenging at first, especially if your current circumstances seem to contradict your desire. But remember, circumstances do not matter. They are only the shadow, the effect of past assumptions. What matters is your state of consciousness now, for it is your present assumption that shapes your future experiences. To persist in your new assumption, to truly do it for yourself, requires faith, but not faith as it's commonly understood. The faith I speak of is not a belief in something outside of yourself, but a conviction in the reality of imagined state. It is the knowledge that what you have imagined and felt as real in your imagination must by universal law be made manifest in your physical experience. This faith, this conviction is what allows you to persist in your new state, even when your senses deny it. It is what allows you to walk by faith and not by sight, to trust in the reality of your imagined state more than the evidence of your physical senses. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, this sounds like self-deception. How can I believe something that isn't yet true to this? I say you are not deceiving yourself. You are aligning yourself with a deeper truth, for remember your imagination. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you imagine and feel as real is more true, more substantial than any physical circumstance. Moreover, this practice of living from the end of assuming the state of your wish fulfilled is not about denying your current circumstances. It's about shifting your focus from what is to what could be. It's about recognizing that your current circumstances are not the cause of your future experiences, but the effect of past assumptions. To do it for yourself, to not waste your life, means to take control of your assumptions, to consciously choose the states you wish to embody. It means to stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. It means to live from the state of the wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. This practice requires discipline, persistence, and above all, self-awareness. You must become aware of your habitual thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. For these are the seeds from which your future experiences grow to change your life. You must change these inner states, but let me assure you, my dear friends, that this work, this practice of conscious creation, is the most worthwhile endeavor you can undertake, for in doing so, you are not just changing your circumstances. You are transforming your entire being. You are stepping into your true power as a divine creator. Now let us address another aspect of our topic. Don't waste your life. What does it truly mean to waste one's life? Is it simply a matter of not achieving external success or accumulating material possessions? I tell you, it is not to waste. Your life is to live unconsciously, to be swept along by circumstances, to react to life rather than create it. It is to live from the outside in rather than from the inside out. It is to believe that your experiences are happening to you rather than recognizing that they are happening from you. Every moment you spend living in reaction to external circumstances, every moment you spend dwelling on past regrets or future anxieties is a moment wasted. For in these moments, you are not exercising your divine power of creation. You are not doing it for yourself. To not waste your life means to live consciously, to be aware of your power as a creator, and to use that power deliberately. It means to recognize that every moment is an opportunity to assume a new state, to embody a new reality. It means to live from the state of the wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. This conscious living, this deliberate use of your imagination, is what it means to do it for yourself. It is not selfish, but self-fault. It is the recognition that you are the source of your experiences, that your consciousness is the one and only reality. When you truly understand and apply this principle, you will find that your life becomes a joyous adventure in consciousness. You will no longer be a victim of circumstances, but a deliberate creator of your reality. You will no longer waste your life reacting to what is, but will spend your days imagining and embodying what could be this. My dear friends, is the true purpose of your life. It is not to achieve some external goal or to conform to society's expectations. It is to fully realize and express your divine nature, to become a conscious creator of your reality. Now, some of you might be wondering, but never, what about my responsibilities? What about my duties to others to this? I say the greatest responsibility you have is to fully express your divine nature. The greatest service you can render to others is to be a living example of what's possible when one fully embraces their power as a conscious creator. Remember, we are all one. We are all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, as you elevate yourself, as you create a life of joy and fulfillment for yourself, you are simultaneously elevating all of humanity. As you tap into your own divine power, you inspire others to do the same. This is why it's so crucial to do it for yourself, because in doing so, you are not just transforming your own life. You are contributing to the transformation of the entire world. You are playing your part in the evolution of human consciousness. Now let us address a common misconception. Some might think that to do it for yourself means to focus solely on personal gain, to pursue selfish desires at the expense of others. But this is a limited understanding of the principle. To truly do it for yourself means to align yourself with your highest self, with your divine nature. It means to pursue those desires that resonate with your deepest being, that contribute to your growth and expansion as a conscious creator. When you operate from this level of consciousness, you will find that your desires naturally aligned with the highest good for all, for the deepest level. We are all one. What truly benefits you must by nature benefit all. This understanding brings us to another important aspect of not wasting your life, the recognition of your true identity. Many people waste their lives identifying with their limited ego-based self. They believe themselves to be separate, isolated individuals struggling against the hostile world. But I tell you, my dear friends, that this is not who you truly are. Your true identity is not this limited physical self, but the infinite divine consciousness that is expressing itself as you. To recognize this truth, to identify with this higher self, is to tap into an infinite source of power and wisdom. When you truly understand and embody this truth, you will no longer need to struggle or strive. You will no longer feel the need to compete with others or to prove your worth, for you will know that you are already complete, already whole, already one with the source of all creation. This recognition of your true identity is crucial to not wasting your life, for how can you fully express your divine nature? If you don't recognize it, how can you tap into your power as a conscious creator? If you believe yourself to be limited and powerless to do it for yourself, then means to do it from your highest self, from your divine nature. It means to act not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of fullness and its completeness. It means to create not because you need something to feel whole, but because creation is the natural expression of your divine nature. This shift in identity, this recognition of your true nature transforms every aspect of your life. It changes how you perceive yourself, how you interact with others, how you approach challenges and opportunities. It allows you to live from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, from a place of love rather than fear. Now you might be wondering, but Wayne, how do I make this shift? How do I recognize and embody my true nature? The answer, as always, lies in your wonderful human imagination, for your imagination is the bridge between your current state of consciousness and your divine nature. Through your imagination, you can experience yourself as the divine being you truly are. You can feel the fullness, the completeness, the infinite potential that is your true nature. And as you persist in this feeling, as you make it more and more real to yourself, you will find that your outer world begins to reflect this new self-concept. This is why I often say that to imagine and feel your wish fulfilled is far more effective than merely wishing or hoping when you imagine and feel yourself as the person you desire to be. When you live from that state in your imagination, you are not just daydreaming or fantasizing. You are engaging with reality at its most fundamental level. You are reshaping your consciousness and thus reshaping your world. Let us now consider another aspect of not wasting your life: the importance of living with purpose. Many people waste their lives drifting aimlessly, reacting to circumstances, living by default rather than by design. But I tell you, my dear friends, that you were not meant to simply exist. You were meant to create, to express, to expand. To live with purpose means to consciously choose the states you wish to embody, the experiences you wish to have. It means to use your power of imagination deliberately, to shape your reality according to your deepest desires and highest aspirations. This purposeful living is what it means to do it. Do it for yourself. It means to take control of your own consciousness, to direct your own life story. It means to stop being a passive observer of your life and to become the active creator of your reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, I don't know what my purpose is. How can I live purposefully if I don't know what I'm meant to do to this? I say your purpose is not something external to be discovered, but something internal to be expressed. Your purpose is to fully embody your divine nature, to express the infinite potential that resides within you. How this purpose manifests in your life, whether as an artist, a teacher, a business person, or any other role, is secondary. What matters is that you are consciously creating, consciously expressing, consciously expanding. What matters is that you are doing it for yourself, living from your highest self, embodying your divine nature. This understanding frees you from the anxiety of trying to find your purpose. Instead, it allows you to create your purpose, to shape your life according to your deepest desires and highest vision of yourself. This is true freedom. This is what it means to not waste your life. Now, let us address a common challenge that many face when attempting to apply these principles: the apparent contradiction between their imagined state and their current circumstances. Many people find it difficult to persist in their new assumption when their physical senses seem to deny it. But I tell you, my dear friends, that this challenge is actually an opportunity. It is an opportunity to exercise your faith, to demonstrate your power as a conscious creator, for it is easy to believe if circumstances support your belief. The true test, the true demonstration of your power comes when you can persist in your assumption despite contradictory evidence. Remember, circumstances do not matter. They are only the shadow, the effect of past assumptions. What matters is your state of consciousness now, for it is your present assumption that shapes your future experiences. To persist in your new assumption, to truly do it for yourself, requires a shift in focus. Instead of focusing on what is, focus on what could be. Instead of reacting to current circumstances, Create new circumstances in your imagination. For remember, your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the very substance of reality. This persistence, this unwavering faith in the reality of your imagined state is what distinguishes those who truly transform their lives from those who merely wish for change. It is what allows you to bridge the gap between your current circumstances and your desired reality. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Wayne, how long do I need to persist? How long before I see results to this? I do not concern yourself with when our desire will manifest. Your job is not to make it happen, but to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The how and when are not your concern. They will be taken care of by the law that governs creation. Your job, your responsibility, is to persist in your assumption, to live from the state of the wish fulfilled regardless of appearances, to do it for yourself by maintaining your desired state of consciousness, no matter what your senses may tell you. This persistence, this unwavering faith is not always easy. There will be times when doubt creeps in, when your old patterns of thought and feeling try to reassert themselves. But in these moments, remember you are more than your thoughts and feelings. You are the awareness behind them, the consciousness that can choose which thoughts and feelings to entertain. In these moments of challenge, return to your imagination. Step once again into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Reaffirm your assumption, for it is through this constant return, this persistent assumption, that you reshape your consciousness and thus your reality. As we near the end of our discussion, let us reflect on the profound implications of these principles. When you truly understand and apply them, you realize that there are no limits to what you can be, do, or have. You realize that the only boundaries in your life are those you have accepted in your own consciousness. To not waste your life, to truly do it for yourself, means to push beyond these self-imposed limitations. It means to dare to imagine a life beyond your current circumstances, beyond what seems possible based on your past experiences. It means to have the courage to assume states that may seem unrealistic or impossible to your rational mind. But remember, my dear friends, that all progress, all evolution, all creation begins in the imagination. Everything that exists in your world was once only an imagined state. The clothes you wear, the chair you sit on, the building you're in, all were once only ideas in someone's imagination. Your job, your relationships, your entire life situation, all are the result of assumed states of consciousness. Therefore, to create a new life, to transform your reality, you need only assume a new state. You need only live from a new state of consciousness. This is what it means to do it for yourself. It means to take control of your own consciousness, to deliberately choose the states you wish to embody. This is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice. It is a moment-by-moment choice to align yourself with your desired state, to live from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. It requires vigilance, persistence, and above all, faith in the reality of your imagined state. But I assure you, my dear friends, that this practice, this deliberate use of your imagination is the most worthwhile endeavor you can undertake. For in doing so, you are not just changing your circumstances. You are transforming your entire being. You are stepping into your true power as a divine creator. As we conclude our discussion, I want to leave you with this final thought. Your life is a gift, a precious opportunity to express your divine nature, to create, to expand, to grow. Do not waste this gift by living unconsciously, by reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. Do not waste it by identifying with your limited ego-based self rather than your true divine nature. Instead, embrace your power as a conscious creator. Use your imagination deliberately, purposefully. Assume the state you desire to embody. Live from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Do it for yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of recognition of your true identity as the divine being you are. Remember, you are not here to fit in, to conform, to live up to others' expectations. You are here to express your unique divine nature, to create, to expand. You are here to contribute to the evolution of human consciousness by fully realizing and expressing your own divine potential. So go forth, my dear friends, and do not waste another moment. Do it for yourself. Assume the state of your wish fulfilled. Live from your highest vision of yourself. Create the life you desire. For in doing so, you are not just transforming your own life. And know that as you embark on this journey of conscious creation, as you step into your power as a divine being, you are never alone, for we are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your success is my success and the success of all humanity. Your growth, your expansion, your realization of your divine nature contributes to the elevation of all consciousness. So dream big, my friends. Imagine boldly. Assume states that may seem impossible. For remember, with God, which is your own wonderful human imagination, all things are possible. The only limits are those you accept in your own consciousness. Therefore, expand your consciousness. Push beyond your perceived limitations and step into the vastness of your true device. And as you do so, as you live from this expanded state of consciousness, you will find that life becomes a joyous adventure, a continuous unfoldment of miracles. You will find that you no longer need to struggle or strive, for you are aligned with the very source of all creation. You will find that you no longer fear the future, for you know that you are the creator of your future. This, my dear friends, is what it means to not waste your life. This is what it means to do it for yourself. It is to live consciously, purposefully, creatively. It is to recognize and express your divine nature. It is to be the conscious creator of your reality. So go forth and create miracles. Go forth and live the life you have always dreamed of. Go forth and be the divine beings that you truly are. For in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose. You express your truest nature, and you contribute to the elevation of all humanity. Remember, it all begins with you, with your consciousness, your imagination, your assumption. Master these, and you master your world. For in truth, there is no world out there independent of your consciousness. It all exists within you, waiting to be called forth by your creative power. So call forth a world of beauty, of love, of abundance. Call forth a reality that reflects your highest vision of yourself and of humanity. For as you do so, you participate in the greatest act of creation possible, the conscious evolution of human consciousness. And with that, my dear friends, I leave you to your own divine exploration. May your imagination be vivid, your faith unshakable, your persistence unwavering, and your creations miraculous. For this is your true nature, your divine birthright. Go forth and do not waste your life. Do it for yourself. And in doing so, you do it for all of us. For we are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your success is our success. Your realization is our realization. Your transformation is the transformation of the world. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Tonight, I shall share with you the most profound secret of creation: how to speak blessings upon yourself and instant transform your entire world. So you see, when you truly understand how to bless yourself, you are engaging in the highest form of creation, for you are doing what God does continuously. Consider the first chapter of Genesis, where God speaks blessings upon his creation. Notice how he didn't ask anyone else to bless his work. He blessed it himself. This is the pattern you must follow, for you are that same creative power individualized as you. Let me share with you why blessing yourself is the most powerful act you can perform. First, you must understand that when you speak a blessing upon yourself, you are not engaging in mere positive thinking or affirmations. You are exercising your divine creative power, for you are God individualized as you. Many of you come to me seeking blessings from others, from teachers, from gurus, from religious leaders, but I tell you now, no one can bless you more powerfully than you can bless yourself, for you are the operant power in your world, and your word is the creative power of God in action. When you speak a blessing upon yourself, you are doing what God did in the beginning. Consider the words, and God blessed them. He didn't wait for someone else to bless his creation. He blessed it himself. And you, being made in his image and likeness, must do the same. Let me share with you the proper way to speak blessings upon yourself. First, you must understand that when you say, I bless myself, you are not speaking as a mortal being. You are speaking as God individualized, for your I am is God. And when you speak blessings from your I am, you are speaking with all the power of creation. Consider this: every time you speak a blessing upon yourself, you are literally recreating your world, for your word is God's word, and God's word cannot return void. It must accomplish that which it is sent to do. But then this is crucial. Your blessings must be spoken with understanding and feeling. You cannot merely repeat words mechanically and expect results. You must feel the truth of the blessing as you speak it, for feeling is the secret. And without feeling, words are empty. Let me give you a perfect example from Scripture. When Isaac blessed Jacob, he felt the blessing as he spoke it. He wasn't just saying words, he was feeling the reality of what he was declaring. And this is exactly how you must speak blessings upon yourself. Many of you might be thinking, but Nebo, isn't it selfish to bless myself? Let me tell you something. It is the most unselfish thing you can do. For when you bless yourself, truly understanding that you are God individualized, you are blessing all of creation. For there is no other. What you see as others is yourself pushed out. Let me share with you how to properly structure your self-blessings. Begin with your I am, for this is the name of God. Then speak your blessing with absolute conviction. For example, I am blessed with perfect health. I am blessed with unlimited abundance. I am blessed with divine wisdom. But remember, these are not mere affirmations, they are acknowledgments of what is already true in consciousness. For when you speak a blessing upon yourself, you are not trying to make something true, you are acknowledging what is already true in the spiritual realm. Consider this principle I have tested and proven countless times. When you bless yourself, you are performing the highest act of creation. For in blessing yourself, you are acknowledging your divine nature, and what you acknowledge must manifest in your experience. Let me share with you the 3 aspects of effective self-blessing. First, there is recognition. When you bless yourself, you must recognize that you speak as God individualized, not as a mortal being hopping for good, but as the divine creator declaring what is. Second, there is feeling. Your blessings must be accompanied by the feeling of their fulfillment. When you say, I am blessed with perfect health, you must feel the vitality, the strength, the well-being that this blessing implies. Fulfilling is the secret of creation. Third, there is acceptance. You must accept that your blessing is already fulfilled in consciousness. Not that it will be, not that it might be, but that it is. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you accept in consciousness must externalize itself in your world. Many of you make the mistake of blessing yourself while looking at your current circumstances. But I tell you now, circumstances have no power over your blessings unless you give them that power. Your blessings create circumstances, not the other way around. Let me share with you a profound truth about self-blessing that most of the world has missed. When you bless yourself, you are not asking for something to be given to you. You are acknowledging what is already yours by divine right. For all blessings already exist in consciousness, waiting to be acknowledged and claimed. Consider the words of Scripture before they call, I will answer. This means that every blessing you could ever speak upon yourself already exists in consciousness. Your speaking of the blessing is not creating it. It is acknowledging and claiming what already is. Let me share with you how to maintain the consciousness of yourself blessings throughout your day. Most people speak a blessing and then return to their old patterns of thought. But I tell you now, your blessing must become your constant inner conversation. I think about this carefully. Every time you speak a blessing upon yourself, you are literally rearranging the entire spiritual substance of your universe. For your consciousness is God, and what God blesses must manifest. Let me give you some specific blessings that I have found particularly powerful. First, I am blessed with perfect understanding of my own divine nature. This blessing opens the door to all other blessings, for when you truly understand your divine nature, all things become possible. Second, I am blessed with the constant awareness of my creative power. This blessing keeps you mindful of your true identity as God individualized. For you see, most people forget their divine nature and slip back into mortal thinking. Third, I am blessed with the ability to see past appearances to the truth of being. This blessing helps you maintain your focus on the reality of consciousness rather than the shadows of circumstances. Consider how these blessings work together. Each one strengthens the others, creating a powerful foundation for all your other blessings. For when you truly understand your divine nature, are aware of your creative power, and can see past appearances, you become a master of conscious creation. Many of you may be wondering how often to speak these blessings. Let me tell you something, it's not about frequency, it's about consciousness. One blessing spoken with complete understanding and feeling is worth more than 1,000 spoken mechanically. Let me share with you another principle about self-blessing that most people miss. When you bless yourself, you are not speaking to yourself as a mortal being, you are speaking as God to his creation. For you are both the blesser and the blessed, the creator and the creation. Think about this carefully. When God said, "Let there be light," he didn't doubt whether it was possible. He didn't wonder about the process. He simply declared it and knew it was done. This is exactly how you must speak your blessings upon yourself. Consider the power in this understanding. When you say, "I am blessed," you are speaking with the same authority that created the universe. For your I am is the same I am that spoke all things into being. Let me share with you how to handle doubts when they arise after speaking your blessings, and they will arise. Many of you speak a blessing upon yourself and then immediately begin to question whether it will work. But I tell you now, doubt is simply a form of consciousness trying to maintain its position. Consider what happens in nature when you plant a seed. The seed doesn't doubt whether it will become what it is meant to be. It simply begins its transformation according to its nature. Your blessings work the same way. They are spiritual seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Let me give you a deeper understanding of how this works. When you say, "I am blessed with perfect health," for example, you have planted a seed in consciousness. Now, just as a physical seed needs time to sprout and grow, your blessing needs time to externalize itself in your world. And this is crucial. While the outer manifestation may take a change in consciousness, it is immediate when the blessing is properly spoken. For you see, the moment you speak a blessing with understanding and feeling, you have altered the entire spiritual substance of your universe. Many of you may be thinking, "But Nebel, I've spoken blessings before and nothing changed." Let me tell you something my teacher Abdullah taught me. Nothing changes because you spoke the words. Things change because you became what you declare. Let me share with you another principle about self-blessing that most of the world has missed. When you bless yourself, you are not trying to influence God to give you something. You are exercising your divine power as God individualized. For your consciousness is God and your word is his word. Consider the story of the prodigal son. Notice how the father didn't wait for someone else to bless his returning son. He blessed him himself. This is exactly what you must do. You must be both the father giving the blessing and the son receiving it. This brings me to a deeper truth about self-blessing. When you say, "I am blessing," you are acknowledging both your divine nature, I am, and your human experience, blessed. You are bringing heaven and earth together in your consciousness. Let me share with you what I call the 7 pillars of self-blessing. These are the foundational principles that must be understood if your blessings are to have their full creative power. The first pillar is recognition. You must recognize that you are the one who blesses. Not your personality, not your mortal self, but your I am. For when you say, "I am blessed," you are speaking as God individualized, not as a mortal being seeking favors. The second pillar is authority. When you bless yourself, you must speak with complete authority. Consider how God speaks in Scripture, not with doubt, not with hesitation, but with absolute authority. "Let there be life." These are words of complete authority. The third pillar is feeling. Your blessings must be accompanied by the feeling of fulfillment. Not the feeling of wanting to be blessed, but the feeling of being blessed. For feeling is the secret, and without the proper feeling, your words lack power. The fourth pillar is present tense. Notice how God never said there will be light. He said, "Let there be light." Your blessings must be spoken in the present tense, for consciousness knows only now. The fifth pillar is persistence, not the persistence of mechanical repetition, but the persistence of maintaining the consciousness of being blessed. For your blessing must become your dominant state of consciousness. The sixth pillar is understanding. You must understand that your blessing is not creating something new. It is acknowledging what already exists in consciousness, for all blessings already exist in the spiritual realm, waiting to be claimed. And the seventh pillar is gratitude. When you bless yourself, you must feel grateful not for what will come, but for what already is. For gratitude is the evidence of faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for. Let me share with you how these seven pillars work together. When you recognize your true identity as God individualized, speak with divine authority, feel the reality of your blessing, maintain present tense awareness, persist in the consciousness, understand the principle, and feel genuine gratitude, your blessing must manifest. Consider how this differs from what most people do. Most people speak blessings from their mortal consciousness, with doubt in their voice, feeling the lack rather than the fulfillment, thinking of future fulfillment, giving up at the first sign of delay, lacking understanding of the principle, and feeling no gratitude until they see results. Let me share with you what I call the 3 stages of self-blessing manifestation. Most people don't understand these stages, and that's why they often give up before their blessings manifest. The first stage is spiritual. This happens instantly when you speak your blessing with understanding and feeling. In this stage, you have literally rearranged the spiritual substance of your universe. This is the most crucial stage, for it is the only stage where real creation takes place. The second stage is mental. This is where your mind begins to align with your blessing. You start to think differently, see opportunities differently, and respond to life differently. Many people mistake this for mere positive thinking, but I tell you now, it is far more than that. It is your consciousness reorganizing itself according to your blessing. The third stage is physical. This is where your outer world begins to reflect your blessing. Now, here's what's fascinating about these stages. They must occur in this order. You cannot skip the spiritual stage and go straight to the physical. You cannot bypass the mental stage and expect outer results. Consider the words of Scripture, first the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. This is describing these 3 stages. The blade is the spiritual acceptance, the ear is the mental alignment, and the full corn is the physical manifestation. Let me share with you how to recognize when you're in each stage. In the spiritual stage, you feel an inner knowing, a deep peace about your blessing. There might be no outer evidence yet, but you know it is done. In the mental stage, you begin to think thoughts that align with your blessing naturally, without effort. If you've blessed yourself with abundance, for example, you naturally begin to think abundant thoughts. If you've blessed yourself with health, you naturally begin to think healthy thoughts. In the physical stage, your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your blessing. But then this is crucial. By the time you reach this stage, you're no longer anxious about it, for you see, you've already experienced the reality of reality and consciousness. Let me give you a deeper understanding of how these stages work together. When you say, I am blessed with perfect health, you instantly create this reality in the spiritual realm. This is stage 1. Then your mind begins to align with this new reality. You begin to think like a healthy person, act like a healthy person, make decisions like a healthy person. This is stage 2. Finally, your body and circumstances begin to reflect this new reality. But by this time, you're no longer desperate to happen because you've been living in the carpenter conscious both perfect, each is 1 and 2. Many of you make the mistake of looking for physical evidence before you've allowed the spiritual and mental stages to complete their work. But this is like digging up a seed to see if it's growing. You must allow each stage to unfold in its perfect timing. Let me share with you what I call the 4 states of consciousness and self-blessing. Understanding these states is crucial, for your blessing will manifest according to the state from which you speak it. The first state is the state of desire. This is where most people begin. They speak blessings from a consciousness of wanting, of needing, of lacking. But I tell you now, this state cannot produce results, for it perpetuates the very lack it seeks to overcome. The second state is the state of hope. This is better than desire, but still not powerful enough. When you speak blessings from hope, you are acknowledging that fulfillment is possible, but you haven't yet accepted it as fact in consciousness. The third state is the state of faith. Now we're moving into creative power. When you speak blessings from faith, you are speaking with conviction, with certainty, with knowing. But there is an even higher state. The fourth state is the state of knowing. This is the highest state, the state from which God creates. When you speak blessings from this state, you are speaking as God individualized, knowing that what you declare must manifest. Consider how these states progress. In the state of desire, you say, I want to be blessed. In the state of hope, you say, I might be blessed. In the state of faith, you say, I will be blessed. But in the state of knowing, you simply say, I am blessed. Let me share with you how to move from one state to another. The movement from desire to hope happens naturally as you study and understand the law. The movement from hope to faith happens through testing the law and seeing results. But the movement from faith to knowing, this is the crucial transition. The state of knowing comes when you fully realize your own divine nature. When you understand that you are God individualized, that your consciousness is the only reality, that your word is God's word, then you naturally speak blessings from the state of knowing. Many of you may be wondering how to achieve this state of knowing. Let me tell you something, it's not achieved. It's recognized. It's not something you become. It's something you already are. Your task is to remove the veils that hide this truth from your awareness. Let me share with you what I call the 5 proofs of effective self-blessing. These are the signs that tell you your blessing is taking root in consciousness and must therefore manifest in your world. The first proof is peace. When you've spoken a blessing effectively, you feel a deep peace about it. Not the peace of resignation, but the peace of knowing. For you see, when you truly know something is done in consciousness, all anxiety about it disappears. The second proof is naturalness. Your blessing begins to feel natural to you. You no longer have to convince yourself of it. It becomes as natural as breathing, as natural as your own name. The third proof is indifference to appearances. You find yourself unmoved by contradictory circumstances, not because you're practicing positive thinking, but because you know the reality exists in consciousness, not in appearance. The fourth proof is change in a conversation. Your habitual thoughts and internal dialogue naturally align with your blessing. You don't have to force it. It happens spontaneously because consciousness always produces thoughts that match its state. The fifth proof is inspired action. You find yourself naturally taking actions that align with your blessing, not from effort or planning, but from an inner prompting that feels completely natural. Remember, dear friends, that speaking blessings upon yourself is not an act of egotism. It is an acknowledgement of your divine nature, for you are God, individualized, and your word has all the creative power of the universe behind it when spoken from that understanding. Let the truth of this sink deep into your consciousness. You are blessed not because someone else blessed you, but because you have recognized and claimed your divine inherent through the power of self-blessing. That's the message I want to leave with you tonight. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's true. Not because it's what you expected to hear, but because it's what you needed to hear. Remember, your blessings create your reality when spoken from the consciousness of who you really are. And isn't that worth thinking about?